Hey everyone, Mherex here, bringing you another video. This one gonna be feud prep video. So this kind of feud I actually like for most rosters, right? Where these are the solo contest CSS on the left. Those are rare, whatever, right? Most people King Kong Bundy and Boss Man, and that's probably it. And you might not even have those. Any Aussie you probably have, right? Um, Now, the interesting thing about Aussie, the ones that people have would be Trickster, right? Most people, myself, that's the only Aussie I have. But for the feud contest to score more feud points and make your feud easier, I really like these because my free to play can do a lot of them even. So that means most people can play and get farther. Right, and you can see it's 10 wins of each class, and then it's 6 wins of 6 different eras: Hall of Fame, Ruthless Aggression, Reality, New Gen, Attitude, and Legend era. So my advice, or what I like to do, is kind of put together a lineup that can win quickly and efficiently and tick as many of these boxes on the right as possible, because that's what the bulk of your points are going to come from, way more than actual war score, unless you have like a massive roster, right? I'm not talking about the 1%, 0.5% of the game. I'm talking about the rest of you here. This is a much better thing to shoot for. And if you can minimize your time doing them and double dip on the class eras and not overlap very much, you can get a lot more points in a lot less time. So if you look at the lineup I have for you in front here, it doesn't have Aussie, and Aussie would be a great Ruthless Aggression substitute for Cena, right? So if you have Aussie, Cena, it might be a better play than Cena, kind of up to you, right? And that would cover Trickster, and you can see we don't have a Trickster. But I have this example to show you the 6 people like I would use if you have them on like a kind of more of like a medium size roster. You may not have all of them, right? But this would just kind of give you an example of how I would go about setting up for this feud, right? So Boss Man actually triple dips because you get the 2 Boss Man, you get Attitude, and then you get Powerhouse. Same thing goes for King Kong Bundy. You get 2 King Kong Bundys, you get the 6 Legend era, and then you get the 10 Striker. So he's like triple dipping. You could also, let's say like you have Stone Cold Steve Austin, Powerhouse Attitude. You can do your 2 wins with Boss Man, and then you could just swap it in for Powerhouse Austin. Like that would be your swap if you have Austin. Once you're done with the 2 Boss Man, then you can continue getting your eras classes done, right? Legendary Striker, maybe you got Ali and you like using Ali, you could get the 2 Bundy done, swap in Ali, and just continue doing those Striker Legendaries. Nothing says you have to, but there's that. Shredder gives you Technician and in New Gen, so you're double dipping there. And then Cena gives you Acro and Ruthless Aggression. So that leaves Trickster and Reality Era and Hall of Fame and Showboat left, right? So from here, you could easily go, if you have them, like Hall of Fame Goldberg, Showboat. And then if you have them, like Bubba, right here, Reality Era. That's all your eras, all your classes, right? So you get 6 wins with these guys and you're done with all your era, and then you could just continue using them, swap out for different in the class. Let's say like I get my 6 Bubba wins, and then I know I want to go to DK Cena, so I can just pop him in, finish up this, and this is just an example, finish up my Trickster wins with somebody I would normally use, right? I get my Legendary ones done with Bundy, and then I need Striker only, so now I can bring my Stone Cold Striker Austin in. I could bring my Yeet in. Doesn't really matter to finish off the Striker. Same thing, you get the Attitude done. I want to use Hogan for Powerhouse, or Cody. We'll use Cody. I'll pop Cody in. You get the 6 New Gen done. And what tech do I like to use? Man, I want to use Julius, so we're going to pop Julius in, right? So it's really easy to switch your guys out once you're done with the era requirements. Then you just pop your best in class in, have them ready to go, have them set up before feud starts, right? Now, I will say, if you're trying to get wins with like Bundy and you have them 6-star bronze or 5-star gold, you don't want to fill everything up. You might notice my line is empty here. That's because I don't want really a high talent to win with somebody a little bit lower, right? I want fast, easy wins. That way I grind out my 2 Bundy wins, I can put someone else in, or I get my 6 Legendary done. I don't have to worry about it. So I'm keeping my talent a little bit lower, 133k. I don't want to like stack it all up with all 6. Now, if you have good enough characters, if they're all gold, you can win fast and quickly, by all means throw all 6 in, get those requirements done. You know what I mean? However you want to play it. But for a lot of rosters, I would suggest starting some way like this, and getting those wins out of the way, and then you can just rotate them in, right? So let's say you're done with your Bundy and you get your 6 Legend done. So now you still have Hall of Fame and Showboat and Trickster, whatever it is. So let's say Hall of Fame Showboat, then you just go ahead and throw in Goldberg, right? And you finish those. You get done with the Cena here, and now you want to finish your reality era. Go ahead and pop Bubba in, right? Or Devon, or whoever you have. You know, Devon would continue the acro win, so it'd be even better. You know what I mean? Then you just kind of finish up with whatever, and as you get done with the requirements, then you can drop into your comfortable feud mode, whatever that might be, and fill your bottom lineup at that point, right? Now you're like, okay, I'm done with my CSS. I want to run my feud. I'm going to run Julius in the Raw spot. My favorite powerhouse is Cody, so we're going to run Cody. You know what I mean? For tech, you know, maybe I have Julius and Mercy and Ilias, and I want to run them both, right? You know, it doesn't really matter. Then you just slot in your favorite people wherever you want. Now, I will say this middle line is kind of, it's a 6-star any Drew. However, there's not a lot of good Drews. This Drew really isn't that good, even with the moment, like he's barely usable. So a lot of people, this is kind of a dead spot if you have it. So you're just kind of boosting talent and not really winning. So be careful with this spot. On the flip side, a lot of people are going to fill it, and there should be some pretty easy tech Drews at 6-star silver, maybe even powerhouse Drews to win, to beat, and you can kind of feast on that. But I think a lot of times, you know, it's 100% damage to yellow gems, 20% war score. It's okay. The war score is nice. The yellow gems is okay. But I mean, really, that boost doesn't matter as much as you might think compared to fast wins. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't necessarily just look to fill the middle lane just because you think it's going to be like amazing. The +1 MP can help. So if you have like a legitimate reason where like, okay, this lets me run a smoother feud, then by all means fill it. And you can have a dead Drew in there that doesn't do a lot for you. What I will say though is don't try to get wins with a bad Drew. That's going to slow your partner down. It's going to slow your feud down. It's a huge mistake. So if you're using a not good Drew and you think I'm going to get a win every feud with them, 1, don't queue with me, please. And 2, it's really going to make your feud way more frustrating, way slower. It's going to piss your teammates off. Just generally not a good way of doing it. Just fill it and then forget about them. Don't use them. You know what I mean? You should have better options unless you have like Showboat Drew. You should have way better options. If you have Showboat Drew, then go ahead, run him, right? He's good. So there's that. The line bonuses, neither of them, I mean, 100% yellow gem damage is kind of nice, but it's not going to benefit a Drew. With the Trickster, you could play DK Cena with his multiplies if that's how you like, right? Zombie LA benefits from it. Bubba really likes yellow gem damage, right? So Reality Bubba, he'll really like that. That's kind of mostly it, you know? I think at Trickster. Doesn't really benefit Ozzy or anything. Ozzy doesn't need MP. And then, of course, your open slot, you know, put whatever yellow gem damage person you want in there. Honestly, I don't even use the line bonus. I more look at it. Who do I want here that needs Santa Hogan that now I don't have to, right? And then I'll just run, like, my best, fastest person if I'm filling the line here. Because obviously I can't fill the top. So if I want that 20% boost, I want 1 extra MP. It's either going to be Austin or Yeet for me. They're 2 of my favorites, or Hall of Fame Ron. because if I can middle lane, I should be able to one click with him. So it'll honestly probably just be Hall of Famer on there. I don't care about the yellow, right? But your roster is different than mine. So that's kind of, think about if it's worth it to have a dead Drew for 100% yellow, 20% war score, when you could just use like an active participant that's really good in an open slot. So the boost isn't always worth it. It just depends on what your roster's like, how quickly you can win. There are a few interesting steel cage boosts though. In particular, we have a Leech Gem boost, and there's a Trap Gem boost that'll help Ozzy. Bleed is okay, but probably not too big a deal for most of us. And then you get small boost, purple and red gem. I think the more interesting one for a lot of people will potentially be the Leech, and the only reason I'm mentioning this is purple also for Shredder, right? But Cena, if you don't have really nice stuff, right? Like if you don't have all the like multiply trainers, a big strap, let's say you have nothing, you can go into this feud this way with Cena, and I'll show you what this looks like. Triple blue with pretty pedestrian trainers. Hall of Fame Ray is the hardest one to get. If you don't have Ray, you can just throw Lawler on there. You know what I mean? He's giving 75% Leech Gem. We're getting a little bit more sub, but not more turns because we want to keep those Leech Gems on the board. So we're actually doing, what is this, like, is that like almost 3.8 million damage for 2 turns on the sub? So you're getting a big chunk here, and then you're getting nice finisher damage, but you're also getting 100% leech boost on the finisher. So they're going to do a 200k more than you're looking at here. Right? So they're going to do 750k per Leech Gem, plus the strength of the Leech Gem, which is almost 1 million a piece. So let me show you what this looks like. Well, I'll just run it for you, and you're going to have more damage than this, obviously, in Feud. I don't have any metals on this strap, so it's doing nothing. I will show you that too so you can see. But this is an option for you if you don't have crazy stuff for Cena, where you can just kind of do a lot of damage. You can see my strap's empty. This plate's not going to do anything for us. And you only need the 4 MP to load the MP up move, which is going to be this middle one here. Increase your blue MP by 3, which will fill the sub. And then you can hit the sub. And I know it's sub gameplay, not my favorite, but if you don't have crazy stuff, this will get you some really easy Cena wins. This works at 5-star. My free-to-play plays this moveset, right? But you can see we have a bunch of Leech Gems out there. We get pinned, no big deal. It's also going to heal you a bunch as well. So then you'd hit this again. It'll fill the finisher. And you can see we are going to hit an initial hit of like 14 million. And then all those Leech Gems are going to break, and we did like a 50 million pin. Almost zeroed Sammy with no strap. So this is a really good moveset for a lot of you if you don't have crazy stuff. And the trainers are not super hard to come by. Hall of Fame Ray, like I said, is probably the hardest, but my free-to-play has him. They gave him away for free, but leveling him, I guess, is the hardest part, right? So, like I said, you can just use Lawler. And you could, if you're using Lawler and you wanted to do more Leech Gem, you could then take, what's his face out here? If you use Lawler and just go whatever 100% Leech trainer you have, 75 doesn't really matter, and get some more Leech Gem that way, right? Like you could use Wesley for 75%, which would be the same as Ray. You just would lose some sub damage is all. So not really a big deal, right? So that's a nice way you can run Cena. It might help a bunch of you out there. As far as like Bundy, you can see mine's only 6-star bronze. Bumby. I like running him a specific way just because it's super easy. I'll try and target, to be honest, I'll try and target Drews with my Bundy. I just stole Ali's strap, so I'm not saying this is a good way for most of you to run him. I'm just showing the way I'm going to, in particular, I'm going to run this one. My Ali had this strap on, so, you know, 50% black from this isn't going to happen because we're using blue moves. We'll get 50% from the tiara, but it is 130% strap. Just Fury, I won't change his Furies out for 2 wins with him because he's a 2 win and done for me. I should probably show you the entourage, huh? This is a definitely multiply gems are always harder entourages to have. So like I'm using Lawler, Lex, Leo, and Gunther. Now, if you don't have Leo, then Sherry and Santa is almost as good as Leo and Lex. So if you don't have Seth or Leo, Seth, then just use Sherry and 17k Santa. If you don't have them, this moveset is not as good. If you don't have Sherry, Santa, or Leo, Lex, then you would want to use something else. This also doesn't hit crazy hard. It's just fast. That's the only reason I like it. And it recycles. So I'm just trying to beat up on lower people for my 2 wins and then get out of there. Because it's 2 moves and done. I don't really have to do much of anything. It's super lazy, and that's how I like playing, right? So just something like that. And it did 9 million damage at 6-star bronze. It's not crazy, but hopefully enough to beat a lot of those lower Drews, that kind of thing. I just need 2 wins, so I won't use Bundy unless I find an easy target, okay? He'll just sit there as a dead card until I find somebody low. I have no interest in slowing my teammate down, that kind of thing. It's just really easy. Now, if you don't have that stuff, I would suggest probably using the Juggernaut sub build, probably, where you can sub, use the Juggernauts for bleed, recycle it. It's just not really fast. So make sure you pick a low health opponent and don't take a long time, right? So yeah, I'll get out of this match, and that'll be it for Bundy. Nothing like earth-shattering here, right? The Cena one I think will be more interesting to people. But yeah, all right, I'll just quit out of the match here. Boom, boom. Okay. Like I said, I just want my fast, easy wins. Is there anything else? The Cena one I thought would probably be significantly more interesting. Let's go back to the Feud lineup. I'll show you guys what I'm gonna run for Feud. After I get Bundy is the only concern I have for my CSS. He's just not really great. And then like Boss Man, I kind of like him this way-ish. You can stun lock as long as they don't have the tier 3 medals. And the stun lock is really good. I'd recommend that for most of you. Just check their medals ahead of time. If they have the tier 3s, the stun lock build isn't going to hit very hard. You'll be there all day, and you won't be very happy, right? Sometime today, game. Okay. So I have stuff laying around because I don't play defensively. I had a 60% strap. I'm not using any armor 2s on anyone. So, I mean, just for the lulls, he has the Rock's Finery on because I wasn't using it anywhere. Same thing with the Hitman's Battle Armor. So he drains MP and recycles. So probably won't lose. And then I'm just going botch damage. All botch damage, right? MP up so I don't have to do any match. Columns out. And then finisher. Like I said, if you don't, if you better would be using this move with the stun lock and your red trainers and move damage if they don't have tier 3 medals. If they have tier 3 medals, that's not going to be very fun, right? So just make sure you check their medals. That would be the more efficient way to run it, assuming you don't have these kind of plates and strap, etc. But this is how I'm going to run him. I don't really like armor a lot, but this is probably going to be somewhat entertaining. And it drains their MP, so even if he doesn't win the first cycle, he'll win the second. He's another 2 wins for me, and I'll sub him out for Powerhouse Austin for the attitude, you know, Powerhouse wins. So you can see the damage not crazy, 41 mil, but the plates kind of do their job. So yeah, so that's Boss Man. And then as far as Shredder, you can check out Shredder videos. I have a bunch of different ways you can run him. I personally like him 2-click. There's also the purple gem boost. So Shredder's going to be really good for your new gen wins for a lot of people. So I think he'd be the play for those if you have him. Why is this doing that? The game is functioning so well. Let's try this again. right? And I stole Ray's strap, Turtle Ray. So it's a 130 strap. Plates don't matter. Shredder doesn't need them. Fury 2s, whatever. But it's the black moves. Make the bottom 4 into multiply 7, and then make 28 multiply gems into purple. So they get that 50% boost. And then this is a more friendly build set for you guys. Priest, 2 black, 2 multiply, Woods, Zombie Brett, and Zombie Chelsea. Obviously, you can get better stuff where you just swap Leo in for Chelsea. And of course, if you don't have Leo, then this becomes Sherry Santa, right? So just like same equivalent for Bundy. And you can see like a lot more Shredder on my channel. Just look up some Shredder videos. But he's really, with the 50% boost on the multiplies, that'll be nice. And he's just really smooth and easy to run. So yeah, a lot of people don't have like Dudenator Sammy for new gen or that kind of thing. So I think Shredder's probably, or Turtle Ray if you have Turtle Ray, but more people have Shredder. So I mean, that's 66 million damage with those trainers. So yeah, Shredder can get it done. Yeah. So that's kind of how I would look to go about it. Like I said, Hall of Fame Goldberg, great for knocking out your Showboat ones if you have him. And I'm not going to run everybody. This is more just me trying to give you guys an idea of how I go about setting up and the way I look at it. For me personally, I will actually probably go slightly smaller just to get the Bundy wins, except I know there's going to be a lot of really not great Drews in there. But I think I will go a little smaller to start just to get the 2 Bundy wins, because that's the thing that's going to be really annoying for me. These left CSS way less important than the right, unless you're going to score really high in the solo contest. 25k or 50k is not very much solo points for the main contest, so they're not nearly as big a deal. So I'm not super worried about them for me. But like I said, I do think I'll probably run something like this just to get the Bundy wins out of the way. And probably the Aussie wins too, because I haven't used Aussie forever. That's kind of interesting. I'll have to think about that. But in general, other than those, that probably takes my Cena thing out of the equation for the Tricksters. So Reality Era, I probably switch it up like this then. Especially because Bubba's making purple multiplies. So, or not Bubba, Devon rather. So I'll probably instead use Devon here. And then we'll just use Aussie here. To get the Ruthless Aggression, 10 Aussie, 10 Trickster. Kind of makes sense because he'll triple dip all of them. Where are you, Aussie? I am blind. Really? There he is. Perfect. So, yeah, and like I said, I'll probably go smaller to start. In fact, to start, I will probably just do this. Drew can take out a gold if I see them. And then, or Aussie can. Like this. This, just go middle line this way. And do those 3 to start. And Bossman, I'll probably run Bossman 2 to get those his 2 out of the way as well, and run those 4. With the middle for me. But after that, Aussie can get his wins. So after the 2 Bundy are done, it'll end up looking something like who did I decide I was going to use for Raw? I thought I was going to use like a striker. And then this will come in after 2 wins and be this to knock the powerhouse out. Shredder can stay because he's great. This can go to Devon. We get the Reality Era. Where are you at, Devon? Boom. He covers Showboat, but not, you know, the right era. So Bundy's done. I will do this and go with like Hall of Fame Ron, right? That's kind of thing. So I'll probably just do the the 2 wins and then probably run something like this. For me, I have enough good ones in the eras, right? Like after the 6 Attitude, Powerhouse, I'll just swap Hogan in and finish out, and he'll get the Legend era. So nothing too bad, right? Like that's how I'm looking at it. I'll have a plan. I'll have everyone set up. So when somebody's done, I pop the next one in. And I like running 7. Sometimes I'll run 8. I probably won't run 8 this time. I think I'll just run 7. Just makes it so much easier to run lower, honestly. You don't see as much crazy, silly stuff. It just makes my life easier. So I'll probably just run the 2 lanes, not fill the open slot up here. But start probably with 4. These 3 and Boss Man down here, right? So that's my plans for the feud. I don't know for sure always the best way to do these feud prep videos, so please let me know in your comments, was this helpful? What else would you like to see? I know sometimes people want to see more of the stuff I run my characters with, and sometimes people want to see less of that because I have whaley stuff. So yeah, let me know what you think. Always looking for your feedback, and remember to like, subscribe, and share because that really helps me out. Other than that, guys, happy 4th of July. Be safe out there. Enjoy feuding and the festivities, and be responsible. So thanks for watching, and good luck out there. No outro.